The following are 10 of the best posts on r/confessions. Story 1. Neighbour tried to get my mum fined over our shed, so I got his $40,000 pool filled in. I live with my mum. She's quiet, keeps to herself, never bothers anyone. A few months ago, our new neighbour decided to report her to the city for having an illegal shed in the backyard. It was total BS. The shed's been there for years and has full permits. An inspector came out, checked everything, and left without saying a word. But the neighbour, smug, proud, thought he'd scared us. So I did a little digging. Turns out his brand new pool was way too close to the property line and illegally built over a utility easement. I reported him, attached photos, quoted city codes. 2 weeks later, the city ordered him to either move it, impossible, or fill it in. He lost the whole thing, $40,000 down the drain. Literally. Now he gets to look at our completely legal shed every day, while standing over a pile of dirt where his pool used to be. Mom sleeps great now. Story 2. I microwaved a fork once just to see if the universe would notice. It did. I was 17, alone, and fueled by a dangerous mix of hot pockets and apathy. I stared at that microwave and thought, what if, just what if, the rules don't apply to me? So I put a fork in there, full metal, full send. Sparks flew, like literal fireworks. The microwave made a noise I can only describe as an electrical scream. I panicked and unplugged it like I was defusing a bomb. The microwave never worked right again. Every time it ran, it smelled like burnt toast and gave my hot pockets a weird metallic taste. My mum blamed it on cheap appliances. I said nothing. I've lived with the guilt. Anyway, that was 10 years ago. I'm now an electrician. I still don't trust microwaves. Story 3. I faked liking sparkling water for 3 years, and now I'm trapped. I'm 30 now, but this started when I was around 27, during a phase where I was trying really hard to be one of those put-together adults who meal prep, drink sparkling water, and have plants that aren't just dying slowly in the corner. So I bought a 12-pack of LaCroix because, that's what the cool, healthy people were drinking. First sip. It tasted like someone whispered the word fruit into a cup of TV static. Absolutely disgusting. But I had already posted it on my Instagram story with the caption, "New addiction, LOL." And that was the beginning of my downfall. Friends started bringing LaCroix over when they visited. Co-workers stocked it in the office fridge because I liked it. My girlfriend, now fiancé, thought it was cute how into sparkling water I was. So she bought me a soda stream for Christmas. Now I'm in too deep. I've become the guy who nods thoughtfully while drinking what is essentially spicy sadness. I have flavours in my fridge with names like pamplemousse and limoncello, and I pretend like I can tell the difference. I can't. It all tastes like carbonated regret. Sometimes I just want a normal drink, but if I ever open a Gatorade, someone will say, "Whoa, no LaCroix today," and I'll just fake laugh like, "Ha ha ha, gotta switch it up." Meanwhile, my soul is quietly screaming. Anyway, if you're young and reading this, never lie about your beverages. That stuff will haunt you. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Story 4. I added Tabasco to Wendy's chili and used it to get second place in a chili cook-off. Title basically says it all. This wasn't a professional organised competition. There was some BMX event with a couple hundred people, and they always have a chili cook-off. I'm not much for cooking, so I thought it would be funny to throw a bunch of Wendy's chili in a crock pot and see if anyone noticed. They didn't. I've been a vegetarian for roughly 12 years, so this was a long time ago. Story 5. I've been faking an allergy for years and now it's gone way too far. This started as a dumb excuse and now I'm in too deep. Years ago, I went on a date with this girl who was obsessed with peanut butter. She kept pushing me to try her peanut butter smoothie, even after I said I wasn't in the mood. Instead of just saying no, I blurted out, "Oh, I can't, I'm allergic." Big mistake. She was super concerned, asked a million questions, and I figured, whatever, I'd never see her again. But then she introduced me to her friend group, and they all knew about my allergy. At that point, correcting it felt too awkward. Fast forward 6 years. I'm still friends with these people. My allergy is a known fact. They warn restaurants for me. They check ingredients. One of them even threw out a peanut butter cake someone brought to a party, just to be safe. The worst part? I love peanut butter. I eat it in secret. I have a stash at work. Once my best friend said, "Man, it must suck not knowing what a Reese's tastes like." And I just nodded solemnly. Now my girlfriend, who also believes I'm allergic, wants us to move in together. And she's super cautious about food. I'm terrified she'll find my peanut butter stash and think I've been lying to her. Which I have. For years. I have no idea how to get out of this. Do I fake a miracle recovery? A medical misdiagnosis? Or do I just keep the lie going forever? TLDR. Lied about a peanut allergy. Now I'm living a double life and can never eat Reese's in public. Story 6. I once lied on my CV. I got the job and got promoted. I lied on my CV and somehow convinced the world I was a coding wizard. Now I'm stuck in a never-ending cycle of Google searches and caffeine-fueled coding sessions. This is when I regret it, and I do indeed. My browser history is a treasure trove of how to fix syntax errors, and what does this error message mean? I learned to code on the job, which is just a fancy way of saying I'm making it up as I go along. My colleagues think I'm a genius, but really, I'm just good at hiding my panic. When they ask me to explain my code, I launch into a confident-sounding, jargon-filled monologue, hoping they'll get lost in the technical mumbo-jumbo. The best part, I got a promotion and a raise, which basically translates to, "We're paying you more to keep pretending you're good at this." Story 7. I give customers more food as a McDonald's employee. That's pretty much it. I make sure that customers get their money's worth. I make the McFlurries full and add a good amount of sauce. I make sure the fries are as full as possible. And sometimes I give the sauces away for free. I once put about 14 nuggets in a 9-piece box. I genuinely don't care anymore. I think the job is fun and stuff, but it's taken way too seriously. They haven't taught me how to work the grill and how to make the burgers yet, but to be honest, that's for their own safety at this point. Edit. LOL, I didn't think this would blow up. Thank you for the kind comments, gifts and the stories. I'm from Europe, so that might be why it's a 9-piece and not a 10. My team is a bunch of young people, 16 to 35, and most of the employees, including me, are younger than 20. My employees have seen me do this, but no one cares enough to snitch LOL. And yeah, I've been working there for well over a year now, so I will keep doing what I do. Anyways, have a good day and be nice to each other. Story 8. Our elf on the shelf is dead forever, and I'm so relieved. Last year my son, then 9, decided Elf on the Shelf was not real when he had a friend over. Touched it, picked it up, threw it on the floor, and later electrical taped it to a robot vacuum. My youngest was watching and laughed, and I thought, finally, nobody believes in this annoying elf anymore. So, Pinecone the elf disappeared after that. This December, my youngest child asked if Elf on the Shelf was coming back, and I told her no, pretty sure her brother had killed him forever. And I don't even feel guilty because the holiday season is so much less stressful without it. To all parents, do not get sucked into getting an elf on the shelf. They will be the bane of your existence for years to come. Edit. Apparently, lots of people have strong feelings about the elf. The kids and I had an awesome holiday. We went to Christmas festivals and school programs. They were in a holiday play. We made Christmas cookies and all of the typical holiday joy, and not once did we miss the stupid elf. If the elf works for your family, that's great, and I mean that sincerely. If you're hanging on by a thread and your cup is empty, and one more thing to remember is the last thing you want to do. Be kind to yourself. Your kids would rather spend time with a less stressed parent than to have all this extra stuff. Story 9. I, 20, male, have been hiding tens of thousands from my parents for years. At the start of high school, I was pretty broke as many high school kids are. To gain more freedom, I worked hard to start my career as a 3D artist, and I was making a couple hundred every few weeks at best during most of high school. Even with how little I made compared to how hard I worked, my mum and stepdad would pressure me to chip in for the groceries and mortgage payments. Keep in mind, we aren't poor or anything. We were middle class, and they just wanted more financial freedom for themselves so they can consistently go on luxury vacations. I also have a few siblings, now in the higher years of high school, who they also do the bare minimum for. Not bad enough to where it's child neglect, but definitely not great parenting, considering none of us could focus on our studies while having to work. The creative industry is difficult and unforgiving, and I put blood, sweat and tears into my work to get where I am at this age. I'm not going to let them pressure me into making any big contributions to their finances so that they can keep going on excessive vacationing sprees. Only me and my girlfriend know how much I really make. I have been saving tens of thousands of dollars without anyone else around me knowing. One day they'll find out how much I have, but for now, I will bide my time and take advantage of as little financial burden as possible. Once they do, I'll simply move out and be done with them. Thanks a lot for the advice and comments, everyone. Just to clarify, I do of course take care of my own expenses and my siblings, since I wouldn't want them to be overburdened like I was. I am not pitching into the household bills because they don't deserve it. They are very, very much fully capable of handling everything comfortably if they just tone down their luxurious lifestyle. And I would just be reinforcing their irresponsible behaviour by helping more. Story 10. I work in a bakery. I'm usually by myself in the back room where I'm scoring, cooking and bagging the bread. The oven mitts hang on these hooks next to the oven. When the oven goes off, I always slide my arms into the oven mitts, like a surgeon does, and pretend I'm about to perform surgery, when really, I'm just pulling freshly baked bread out of the oven. That was 10 of the best confessions on Reddit. If the video was satisfactory, please consider liking and subscribing. Thank you for your time.